show begins and Uncle Dave sings his songs and Uncle Dave hangs around. Uncle Dave sings some more songs.
Uncle Dave don't leave.
We have the good time like we always do. And at the end of the night, Uncle Dave is standing there and Aunt Lynn screaming, "Get your in the car. They're running us out."
Well, sometimes you can't. You
can't leave.
You can't stop a good thing.
Can't leave. It's a fun place.
It
really
is.
And you can't stop a good thing, and you can't load up a griffin.
This is the expert.
Something in the water taught me how to crawl. Something in the water taught me how to fall.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Something in the Water podcast. I'm Sean Clark, here with Uncle Dave Griffin.
And tonight we have the Cooper brothers from Brunswick, Georgia, Randy and Rodger. Hello, y'all.
How you doing, Uncle Dave?
I'm good.
Good to be here.
It's good to have y'all. It's good to have y'all.
R&R.
R&R. And I just want to ask our watchers and listeners and y'all, what do you get when you put, what's the word when you get two Coopers together?
We're all cooped up, maybe.
No, it's called early. Because they was here 20 minutes before any, 30. We have a kind of a loose arrangement here, but
We're
we
musicians.
always shoot for 6 p.m. with our
30 minutes after we say we're going to.
when we tell our guests, y'all come on over. We'll start up at about 6 o'clock with supper and drinks, and then we'll get on into it. But these guys was here at 22, so. And the other thing,
So Dave was just waking up.
I was just getting out of the shower. But the other thing you get when you put two Coopers together is a band, right?
That's true.
That has been said before.
Yeah. So,
But Uncle Dave, I got to remind you, when we showed up here, we wasn't here for a podcast. We was here as the FBI looking for you.
tell me it ain't so.
I don't think that introduction went over so well because we was escorted back in the front yard and the door shut.
Okay. Well, Justin, he's very protective of me and Sean.
I like
and
him already.
He said, you start bringing up past misdemeanors to Justin, he's gonna get turned up. And he's gonna be escorting a few people out too.
Don't take no wooden nickels.
No, but we are glad to have y'all. Folks. It all started with me was I'd play a gig over in Brunswick area, and then me and my wife would be heading back to Waycross. So this little bar kept popping up in our peripheral.
You can go ahead and say dive.
Yeah, well, it is a dive bar, and I say that in a very
No
positive way
offense
because
taken
I
at all.
love dive bars.
Yeah, that's a great
Love dive bars, and it sometimes has a negative connotation, but in this case, it is the sweetest, best dive bar in a long range of miles. Yeah, it's the Boondocks, originally called the Blue Bar over in Brunswick, Georgia, on the Blythe Island Highway Road, and we'd stop off in there and kept seeing this guy running the karaoke because they had that, Friday, Saturday, or just Friday, Saturday?
Wednesday at 8, Friday and Saturday at 9.
Okay. And by all means, if you haven't been or if it's been a long time since you have been, go because it is a hoot.
It's a good time.
It is a big time, and it's just there's just lovable family type people in there, the same folks, and you never can tell what you're gonna get when you walk in the door. Really,
Never know.
And that adjustment especially
From the
when
light
like
to
if
the
you
dark.
played the 4 to 8 and it's still bright as all get out front, and you walk in, and it's as dark as it takes you about 30 seconds to be able to see. And I love it
that
like
in
that.
a bar. And I love the smell of a bar too. So you can tell I've been doing this for a while. It's cleaner than alcohol and stale cigarette smoke. That mixture right there.
I'm getting all excited, man. Calm down.
But we'd stop off in there on our way home, and I started, and I typically shunned karaoke until I started visiting the Boondocks, and it just worked on me so much that eventually I'd get up and sing one, and then one turned into two, and then more we stopped, the more I got to know Randy, and then I met his brother, and it's just become this has taken course over the course of probably about 4 or 5 years
Probably
now.
so, yeah.
And so good friends, good people.
I'd like to elaborate on something. You touched on it about finally, eventually, I sang a song. Well, I asked you about this one time, and you told me something, and I thought it was just like, wow.
What?
And a long period of time had went by, and I have thought about this the whole time. And then finally one night, I said, I'm going to find out if he's shooting me a line of crap. So I approached Aunt Lynn, and I kind of started the conversation much the same way that I did with you when you told me, and I didn't even get there. And Aunt Lynn said, this is the only place he's ever sang karaoke.
That's right.
So it wasn't that just it took you a little while
to warm up.
to warm up to the bar so that you'll sing a song.
To where
It took you a while to warm up to sing karaoke, period.
period. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And karaoke is a lot different than in singing
Well, it
to
is,
your own
and
live
that was
music.
what
yeah.
I always.
It always scares me because
It
when I get
does,
up there and
yeah.
play, I know what I'm
Right.
playing. I know
It
what I'm
was
doing.
a lot of that, and it was also this kind of idea like, oh, well, this is just like,
It's like singing to a backing track. Man.
yeah.
Nobody wants to hear me sing to a
somehow
backing
I
track.
might have felt a little like, no, I'm gonna sing with real instruments and that kind of thing attached to it.
Well, I told you the other night in there over the last weekend, I think, how do you supposed to sing a song if you don't have your guitar in your hand?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there was a little bit of hesitation there, and I guess what it boils down to was I was probably nervous to do it,
Mhm.
without a guitar and everything. But y'all made it all right.
Are you nervous now?
No, no. It's a lot of fun, and that's why people do it.
Yeah.
I mean, they get a kick out of it.
I remember one night in particular. You had played your solo show before my show started,
Mhm.
and you had some people were there to see your show,
Mhm.
and I showed up and I'm setting up my stuff, and you come to me and you say, I got some people here, and they want to hear me sing a song, and we've got to go. So as soon as you can get me up, I'd appreciate it. So there's songs that you would sing karaoke that you don't play.
Oh
So
yeah.
I said, okay. So the show begins, and Uncle Dave sings his songs, and Uncle Dave hangs around. Uncle Dave sings some more songs.
Uncle Dave don't leave.
We have the good time like we always do. And at the end of the night, Uncle Dave is standing there, and Aunt Lynn screaming, "Get your in the car! They're running us out."
Well, sometimes you can't.
Just
you
can't leave.
You can't stop a good
Can't
thing.
leave. It's a fun place.
It
really
is.
And you can't stop a good thing, and you can't load up a griffin.
This is the expert.
I went to California and back with 3 griffins.
What
and,
was your
whoa,
famous saying?
it's wrangling cats, which turned into wrangling griffins.
It's pretty true. Well, once I'm having a good time, it's hard to quit. You know.
And you touched on something that's one of the things that is very much an allure to me, for me, doing what I do there, and I feel like I've got a real knack for it because it happens a lot, where I find out that there's somebody that has never sang before, and I just got a way of convincing them, and that's part of the reason why you finally decided you would sing karaoke for the first time.
Yeah, had it not been for you,
Whenever somebody gets up there and they've never sang a song before, and you can just see the nerves in them.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time they get to the end of the song, that's kind of calmed down and they're all smiles. That's why.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I love doing what I do.
That's what you get out of it.
Because
that's right.
The next thing you know, they're filling out that card, ready to sing another song, and it's like, yes. And you've been there, and I know that you
has this boy ever sang? Has he ever sang karaoke?
I've sang with other people there, but I always
me.
Like
me.
I'm not a yeah.
Do you remember what song we sang together?
It's just coming back to me that I sang with you.
It's all coming back to me now.
It was one I knew because I already knew the words. I can't remember what it was.
If
Long
I could
train
if
running.
I could snarl,
Elvis.
No.
It's the British equivalent of Elvis.
Yeah. Stones.
Only he had blonde hair instead of black.
I thought you loved me, man. I thought that
and
something.
His name was
I thought that
Billy,
something had
not
happened to you
Elvis.
that you would never forget.
Do you remember what it is?
His name was Billy, not Elvis.
Billy Idol. Yeah.
It reminds me.
Yeah. Was it Rebel Yell? Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember now.
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot of stuff. Y'all find that out longer, you know me.
It seemed like it was much.
I'm
more
like a
impactful-
goldfish every time I turn
Much
around.
more impactful for me than it was for you.
What was that fish's name? Dora.
Yeah, I'm like
That's me.
I'm the male version of
Dory.
Dora. Dory.
Dory. That would be a good one. Randy used to say, "Let's do so and so." I was like, "We do that song? Yeah, we did it last night." Oh, okay.
Well,
Uncle Dave, you have been a terrific addition to what is our Boondocks family there. Everybody
part
loves
of
you
the
there,
family now.
and it's
You know?
it's
They've
it's
just
really great.
recently Cheryl
Waters.
Waters is the owner there, and she's a beautiful soul. She's very music minded, and just recently they have added on a huge backyard stage,
Very nice.
fenced in, picnic tables, covered picnic tables all the way around. Now they've recently got canopies covering all the tables out there pretty much now. An outdoor bar is big time. And she started booking Pine Box Dwellers and myself and a lot of our other friends, Page Brothers, Ty Manning.
We play there tomorrow night. So
South of Savannah. We're going to get into that.
Saturday night.
We're going to get into that too. But since that has happened, you know, the place has taken on a lot more importance for us, you know, because we don't get to just stop off on the way from another gig now. We get to play there too.
You are the gig now.
We have a gig.
You're
there
already
now,
you're
you know?
already there. You ain't got to
We
go
worked-
nowhere.
We worked into it.
now, if we could just get somebody to load the equipment up, so we can go straight on in the club.
Well, my shows are solo, so it ain't much. You know, I don't need much help. It's just 2 or 3 trips to the car, and I'm set up.
And I think it's also great that since the bar is located where it is in the homes that surround it, the noise ordinances are such that the bands have to quit a little early, so we get to do karaoke even when bands.
Beyond that.
So you get 2 different flavors of entertainment.
I like that. That's going on there because
That's
we'll-
a cool thing.
we'll play inside from 4 to 8. Then we're getting out of the way and you're coming in, and the vibe. It's just it carries on through the whole day, and
It's
and then
great.
you got a band outside, and I love it.
Food trucks,
Food trucks.
and
And it's a different it's a whole lot of different vibes you can get into in that
Right.
spot.
Yeah.
That outside, you feel like you're kind of at a festival, and then you're out there so long you forget.
You
When
walk inside,
you're
go
like,
to the
I'm in the
bathroom,
coolest
and
dot.
there's
Yeah.
pool tournament going on, and
now they got the dart.
And now,
they
darts,
got darts
going
and
on.
karaoke's warming up, and you go to the bathroom, you come back, and it's like, I can't get away from the music.
Yeah.
It's all over the place.
It's a cool
Everywhere,
place.
everywhere.
It's a cool place.
Well, tell me which one of y'all is the oldest.
That would be me.
Roger. 4 years.
I do
4
have an
years.
older brother. He's a year older than me.
Y'all got any other siblings?
That was
Just the two
enough.
of y'all? And y'all grew up in Brunswick
Sure did.
or Sterling?
Well, we actually grew up in between Sterling and Brunswick, but now we all live in Sterling.
Okay.
We
Older
grew
brother.
we grew up on Oak Grove Island
Oak Grove.
before it was
Okay.
ever Oak Grove Island.
Golf course.
Yeah.
Well, that's where the golf course is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
When we lived there, it was a little dirt road and
None of that.
all woods.
None of that existed when we were growing
Right.
up there.
Awesome.
Yeah, we used to play in the woods back there where the trailer park is behind it now, and now Oak Grove Island with a big gated community and all that wasn't there back in those days.
How was y'all's? I know you mentioned that your mother was just heaven sent, and I can say that about mine too. And that's a wonderful thing to have as boys growing up, to have a mama who's just a saint, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, everything was about us. Not her.
Well, I can tell you that since I've met y'all, just your characters, just the way you carry yourselves, and I've seen it more so because I've met Randy pretty good ways before I finally met you, and I've seen Randy in action. And you've got you're a very genuine, caring soul, you know. And I've just seen it so many times. I've seen this side of you, and you pick that up. The only way you can pick that up is from being raised right.
Right.
you
Well,
know?
I can tell you, and I've said this many times, that me and my two brothers, we were just the luckiest three little kids, because there's one thing that I always understood, that we was raised by a mother and a father who dearly loved one another.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that either one of them could possibly have loved more was us three kids.
I thought you were the only two.
No, I got
Older-
one more
he's-
older
we got
I
an
brother.
said they had an
older
older brother.
Got an older brother.
I got you.
Is he an
So
R?
that's where that comes from.
Is he an R
Is he
too?
Ricky? Ronald?
He's a Carl.
Carl. Okay.
That just don't make sense.
Ronald is actually our dad's name.
Okay.
Okay.
And his
my
son.
son's name's Ronald.
Ronald, Randy, Rodger, Carl.
Yep. And their kids are Ronald, and there's a Randy from the oldest brother. His
Okay.
son is named after me.
Boy, that's like family reunions and just a ball of confusion.
It is, yeah.
We've got it figured out.
Randy, pass me the potato salad. Randy,
Potato salad.
which one?
Potato salad. When we were growing up, it's gone because this one would eat it all.
I'm gonna eat potato salad
He
first.
was a potato salad freak.
Well, let me ask you this:
Still am.
onions in your potato salad or
Yes.
without?
Yes.
Yes.
Onions with?
Hell
Or
with
without.
y'all.
Family reunions, church socials, homecoming dinners, and all that. 7 different potato salads. I had to try them all. And try them all.
You kind of like that, huh?
And then now my daughter-in-law makes a German potato salad, which is really good.
I've had those before.
I'm after that too. Yeah.
Well, you can't see her, but Roger's beautiful wife Donna is sitting right off camera in here today too. So she's going to correct.
She thinks she's gonna keep us straight. So
She's going to correct Roger when he goes left, and should have gone right. But Donna I'm going to ask you a question. Do you make potato salad?
she makes the best one.
I figured that was coming.
which reminds me, how long you all been married now?
45 years tomorrow.
Good
Wow.
Lord.
Happy anniversary.
45 years tomorrow.
And we're playing tomorrow night. So.
And
again,
they
Loving
are
a music man ain't always what it's supposed to be.
they are together. They are together, not literally, but virtually 24/7
24 hours a day, pretty much.
every day.
Yeah.
And
Where y'all going on your anniversary party? To the gig?
They're going to play at the Boondocks Saturday night.
That's
Had a
right.
good time.
That's right. This boondocks that we speak of.
Show starts at 7 o'clock.
That's a built-in party.
That's Saturday night. That's right.
And our son's wedding anniversary is the same day. Yeah, they seen ours had worked out so great, so they decided
So
to
it's-
get married on the same date,
August
4th.
4th.
Sound like a lot of
4th
family
and 5th.
love.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I ended up in the wrong one. No, no, we got some love. But we got some.
I married
Fools, too.
my wife on her birthday, and her friends all say cheap.
Yeah.
I say no. There was a reason behind it, because I knew I hoped one day I would grow old with her, and I would be forgetful.
Right? You would only have to
And
remember
then if
one
I
day.
could just remember
One
either a
day.
birthday or an anniversary, then I wouldn't have to worry about remembering the other one.
That's right.
Yeah. That don't fly. Probably. Well, tell me this. How did music enter y'all's
Life, it came from our mother. She was our mother was a awesome singer when she was growing up in the church. She was a singer in the choir and did solo stuff in the church. Cut records.
Really?
There's records of my mom that exist somewhere.
Wow.
What was her name?
Nancy
Cooper.
Nancy Jean.
Nancy Jean.
Yeah. I ruined it. I ruined it for her because when I was a little tyke, and I don't remember this, but I've heard the stories my whole life. Mama would be singing around the house, and for whatever reason, I would say, "Hush, Mom, hush, Mom." So I kind of thwarted all that. But if music can be passed down through genes,
Yeah.
we got ours from our mother.
Okay.
Awesome.
So
And they're still being passed down. Have a granddaughter now that's singing for the Lee University Choir up
Wow.
in Tennessee. Yeah,
got it from her grandma.
passing it on now.
I mean, great grandma.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, so if you were initially saying hush,
Yeah.
when did it turn into, yeah, that's all right? When did y'all say, I want me some of this? And what form did it take?
I started
how old were
playing
y'all?
guitar when I was 12. I was going to Jane Macon Middle School
Mm-hmm.
and wanted to learn how to play. My mom was working over at the Brunswick. It was a Brunswick Junior College at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a guy over there that was advertising guitar lessons, and I guess she'd seen it on the bulletin board or something.
Yeah.
So I'd carry my guitar to school, took music at Jane Macon and what I could do there, and then after school I'd go over to the college and take lessons with Judd Holly.
Judd
Holly.
Holly.
And I just heard
Sounds
his
like a
name
music
mentioned
name.
again the other day. A guy that I met had played in a band with Judd,
Yeah.
and I was wondering where he'd been all these years, and I finally
about
found
that?
out he was still out playing. So yeah, from 12 years old, I played mostly just a rhythm guitar, and then when me and Donna met, her dad was a pastor, so I was playing the gospel music in the church along with them, and
All right.
kind of went from there.
And of course, as he would learn to play songs, I would sing along with him. So that's where I started singing when I was just a little small tyke. Sing
Playing-
along to my
playing
big
folks
brother
and-
playing guitar.
Folks in Prison Blues on the school bus even.
Yep, we used to live. This was a period of time when we had moved away from Brunswick to West Georgia, Bainbridge area,
Yeah.
Georgia, and we lived a long way from where we went to school, and there was another guitar player that lived right down the street.
Mhm.
So this guy, Bill White, and Roger would play their guitars on the bus,
Uh-huh.
and the whole bus would just be singing. I've
Wow,
seen
that's
I've seen
cool.
Delta Dawn and Bad Leroy Brown. 1,000 times. He
Yeah.
says,
That's awesome.
because of the
Baddest man in the whole
town.
town.
Yeah, the whole school.
So
bus
that would
be
have been the
singing along.
70s?
Yeah.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
70s?
Yeah.
Why'd y'all move to Bainbridge?
Well, my father was a civil service worker
Mm-hmm.
and worked at the Navy base, Glencoe Navy base there in Brunswick. Well, it shut down, and he was transferred to Lake Seminole.
Corps of
He was
Engineer
a-
job.
He was a heavy equipment operator. That's all he ever done.
Okay. All right.
And while we were over there, I think we were there for like 13 months. And in that time, they were transitioning the Glencoe Navy Base into what is now the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center.
Mm-hmm.
So just as soon as that reopened, we was right back
Back
in
home
Brunswick.
again.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I bet you that felt good coming back home.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Well, it's kind of weird. The Bainbridge area, when we lived there, it was really a beautiful, beautiful place. And I've always said, if I was ever going to live anywhere else, I would want it to be there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brunswick is home. And
How old were y'all when you were living in Bainbridge?
I ran across report cards from school that we attended there, and I was 10 years old.
10. Okay.
My dad always said about Glenn County, once you get that gumbo between your toes, it's hard to wash off. So, Brunswick is our home.
Yeah. It's kind of like a little bit like military, the way you move. Because Daddy was in the Air Force, and we did a lot of that transitioning. But we always had our home in Waycross. But it was interesting, to say the least. So y'all's first band together, or maybe let's go with first band, because you
All
were
right.
4 years older than him. You may have had a band that
Well,
he wasn't in.
Actually, no, but I was still playing some music, and I had been introduced to the Woodbine Opry.
Okay.
So I was playing some. I'd go down there on the weekend, on Saturday nights, and play. They had a bluegrass night on Friday and the country on Saturday, so I was more into the country stuff.
Open mic.
Type thing.
Bring it if you can play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
type
was
thing.
fun. It was fun, and I did that for a couple of years. And my wife Donna, she was singing some songs. Well, we also at the time we owned a bait shop / archery shop, whatever, right there in Sterling, the big city. And Stanley Pierce came in one day, and I had my guitar in the guitar stand. And if nobody was in there, sometimes I'd sit over and just play the guitar while it was nothing going on. And Stanley said, "Is that your guitar?" "Yeah." I said, "If you want to play it, man, play it." He said, "No, I play the bass." I said, "Well, we should get together and jam sometime." "Yeah, we need to do that." I said, "Well, Saturday night I'm going down to Woodbine." I said, "Why don't you come on down to Woodbine and play with us?" And he actually did. And he heard Donna sing, and he said, "She needs a band behind her." So we started jamming around and got Randy involved with it, and started putting that together, and kind of went
Next
from there.
thing you know, we need a drummer.
Yeah, we got to have a drummer,
It'd
man.
really be great if we had a rhythm guitarist to play along.
And what's the best name for a drummer? And we found him, all the total package.
Yeah.
Sticks.
Thumper.
Thumper.
Yeah.
Show him the picture of the gang.
Yeah. Now, what year did y'all first make this band?
We don't know.
happen?
We tried to figure it
80s?
out. We don't know.
No, it was. We
90s?
waited till our kids were grown and
Yeah.
gone
Lord,
from
y'all
the house
really-
before we were
Y'all
already
really put it off.
we were
Yep.
really antique before we started playing band music. So
Yeah. Hold up that big picture.
I was on a first date. The date's really easy to remember because I had just celebrated a birthday, and Silver City Band.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh. The middle.
I was
one?
on a first date.
Yeah.
Uh,
The Silver City Band.
Yep.
That's Stanley, the black.
Stanley
Fella.
Pierce, black guy on the bass, Thumper Bennett on drums. I was on the guitar, and Randy and Donna was vocals.
Randy and Donna was in the tree.
They were in the tree.
The monkeys.
Yeah, and that's what we started with. We started with just the three pieces and then two vocals. Then we eventually added a rhythm guitar player. We're kind of opened it up where I could do a little bit of the lead stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
Silver City Band.
yeah,
And that was out of Brunswick. And y'all played all over, or just mainly in
It's
Brunswick?
just, you know how it goes. It just
eventually
starts growing.
Start spreading out.
We never did any major big time traveling, even though we would go just into Alabama. We played Oak Tree Festival. Is that what it was? Was it
Cool.
Oak Festival? Tree Festival? Tree Festival. I forget the name of the little Alabama town.
Yeah.
Played a gig or two in South Carolina towns, down in Florida.
Yeah.
But we didn't go
Just enough.
Yeah.
Just enough.
Yeah.
How many years were you together, you reckon?
Probably 12 or 13
Yeah.
years we did it.
That's a nice little haul.
Yeah.
it is. And then Randy fell in love, and he kind of left the band, and we got another front man.
You
and
ever
still
been
played.
married?
Twice.
Twice? I got you beat.
Been married twice, yeah.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, it was one of my wife's, the second one, that I was on the date with, and it was the first date. She wanted to go to this karaoke bar. So I went, and we were there, and she had friends, and they were all singing, and I'm sitting there, and I'd never sang in public before, unless you call on the school bus singing publicly when I'm a little tyke. And they was all night long, "Hey, you sing a song, sing a song, sing a song." So finally, right at the end of the night, I got up and sang my very first song on October 19th, 1997. It was the first time I ever had sang in public.
How about that?
And I fell in love with it like a lot of people do.
Where was the bar?
It's a little place called, was it PJ's? I think it was called PJ's in Brunswick in the Winn-Dixie Shopping Center. It's a Thai restaurant now or something like that.
Yeah.
But it was nothing but karaoke. That's all that they did there. It was a great little karaoke bar too.
Yeah.
So it, just one thing led to the other. And when Stanley and Roger got together and singing songs with Donna, it just all blossomed.
Mm-hmm.
It just
So
all
who
just-
broke the band up?
It was me. Like Roger said, I fell in love and
Fell in lust. He fell in lust.
Well, what's the difference?
Fell in bed.
I went to Canada.
Oh, no. Well.
Couldn't just follow her across the county line or nothing. No, hell no.
Yeah.
Let's go straight to Canada.
Well, that was an international romance.
Yeah, it was.
And when all of that ended, Roger, like he said, they had replaced me and was doing other things. When I came back, I didn't have a role and really didn't want a role at that time. So the next thing I know, I'm being asked by Cheryl to.
How many
do
years
that.
you been doing that now?
The last weekend of this coming September will be 7 years
Oh, okay.
that I've been there doing that.
Yeah, not terribly long, but that's pretty good.
Still
It's
good.
a pretty good
stint.
long time
Pretty good stint there.
to be
7
at
years
one place.
and
A karaoke DJ.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
shoot. Well, I've known you at least half of that time.
probably so. Yeah.
You missed the best show though. The nights I had to fill in for him at the karaoke show.
When was that?
Yeah, I've had to do that 2 or 3
A
times.
couple times.
That's interesting. That's a whole. I'm telling you,
It
it's
is.
a whole new world.
It is.
I don't know. I mean, as long as I've been doing music, I would just be lost. Like, what am I supposed to be
Well,
doing?
you're good at it too.
Well, thank
I
you.
know
You
You
Thank you,
are. And that's what. And you're loved. Too.
It's like I told.
Everybody there.
It's like I always told the band. Our job was to have fun. Get on that stage and do what we do, and have fun, and just invite the crowd to have fun along with us.
That's what
And
it
I
boils down
carried that
to.
into my karaoke thing.
Yeah.
And I tell people, and I hope Cheryl don't watch this. They pay me to party.
Well, she's not.
Because I just try to have as much fun as I can, and do everything that I can to try to make it as much fun for the people that's there. And that's just what I do. That's how I go about it.
That's the best way to look at it. We're entertainers.
It's just fun.
Musicians, bands, we're entertainers, and sometimes we get too much caught up in the me thing.
Right.
What song do I want to play,
Right.
or what? You're there for them. And
We used to always try to pick out dance songs. If we don't dance to it tonight, we ain't gonna play it tomorrow night. Play something else.
You know your crowd, and that's a good way to continue being successful. Well, let's look at the old. You got that video clip. This is an old video from here a while back with the Silver City Band. I don't know where y'all were playing.
This is
point.
our barn party gig.
The barn party.
Yeah.
Okay. And y'all played these barn parties to give your locals a chance to come hear you.
Yes. The fellow on the left, not pictured in the photo, is a rhythm guitarist, Gary Jones.
Way back there.
Was a part of our on
No,
the
that's
left.
the bass way back
Yeah,
there.
that's Stanley.
Oh, that's Stanley.
Yeah.
And that's Gary.
Gary Jones.
Right
yeah.
there, Gary Jones.
Yeah. And his brother.
And there's Donna.
His brother at times would fill in and play with us some.
And that's Randy
That's me.
doing the lead singing. And yeah, y'all had somebody had a Confederate flag. What's that? Southland.
Southland Band. They had their. We came into this party. It was their gig, and we came in and done some music.
I got you. Look out, Donna.
There's Donna.
Donna. She's sparkling. She's sparkling.
That is at Miss Francis's, right?
Yeah,
Donna be sparkling.
yeah. Donna used to cut up on me.
But look how spiffy we are.
Yeah, y'all
Look how spiffy
got it
we
down.
are.
matching
baby.
outfits.
Yeah.
And where's that's the drummer back there, and that's Roger over there behind you, right?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
would
they
be
got me
right
tucked
there.
over there in the corner.
Playing the Fender.
Yeah, Uncle Dave,
Y'all look sharp.
I am freaking shocked that Roger's even here. This is not his kind of thing.
What, a Bobcat?
Not his.
Oh, he's a
I'm on it.
natural at it.
I'm on it,
Yes.
bro.
Y'all both seem very natural at it.
Y'all seem like brothers.
We are brothers. We're brothers. We had a lot of fun times there at that spot, Uncle Dave. It was one of those kinds of things where we would have cookouts and people would bring covered dishes and all of that kind of thing, and it was a party before the music was just part of the evening's festivities. And the one thing that I really, really, really loved about it was all the little children
Oh yeah.
running around, dancing, and having themselves a ball. That just made it truly exceptionally fun thing to do. And we had
Stanley's laying it down back there.
Stanley's on it. Stanley was my brother. That was our brother from another mother.
yeah.
We had a black bass player in a band that I was in from about 86 through 88 or so. His name was Napoleon Williams, and his claim to fame was he had played with Cornelius Brothers and Sister Rose
How about that?
way back in the day.
Cool.
I think he was. We called him spinning the truth a little bit on one of our gigs. So I can't say that was true either.
Well, you don't want to tell a totally boring story.
Yeah.
That's true.
Don't let the
That's
truth
true.
get in the way of a
embellishment
good story.
helps sometimes.
Yeah, but that was.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun doing those shows, and we made so many friendships, and people, you get to love them. It's more than just a friend. Love happens,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and that's just great, wonderful. Lots of fun there.
Well, that was the Silver City Band
Yeah, Silver City Band.
back in the day.
Back in the day.
Why do we call ourselves Silver City?
Yeah, what's up with
Because
that?
we're from Sterling.
Wow.
Silver City.
Sterling has been referred to as Silver City.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, I went, one of the first times I visited Sterling was about 1989 or 90. No. Well, it might have been 91. There was a feller there that was a renowned author by the name of Stanley Booth, who lived in Sterling, and he had written the autobiography or the biography of the Rolling Stones. He'd hung out with them on tour.
From Sterling, Georgia?
And lived in Sterling. He wasn't from Sterling. He was from Cogdale, which is about 9 miles outside of Waycross, turpentine country, in between out that highway, like you go in the back way to Homerville. And he grew up there. His mother was a elementary school teacher here in Waycross, but eventually they moved around a lot and wound up living in Memphis, Tennessee, and different places. And he became a blues enthusiast. And he never played, but he was a writer. He
Wrote about it.
He wrote about it. He went to school in LSU, and long story short, he became a writer and was writing magazine articles for Playboy and GQ and getting his little commissions here and there.
I've never read any of his articles out of Playboy.
You never have?
No.
He just bought it. He just bought it for the pictures.
I understand. How you reckon? Did they make Braille copies of Playboy?
Oh boy!
For folks that can't see.
I wonder how that would work.
I think it says tail.
And how can they pleasure themselves if they're too busy with one reading, holding the magazine and all? Nah, it's impossible. It's impossible. All right. That's deep in material, folks.
Yeah,
we'll stay out of
We
there.
need to move on.
Who does that?
Next.
Uncle Dave always goes where you shouldn't go.
Yeah.
But
Could you please clean that before I read it?
clean it.
That's
heck.
it. All right, that's it. That's it.
They're
That's
like,
all for that
Or
one.
they're like,
Let's move on.
Oh my goodness.
I can't
Well, I
believe
grew up, my grandma and granddaddy had an outhouse on the farm that I grew up on in Hoboken. And I grant you, they didn't have Playboys
Nope.
in there to wipe with. They did have Sears catalogs, though. And believe me, those sheets, those pages were absorbent.
All right.
But even sometimes even the Sears catalog could be provocative. Does anybody remember the time that there was a country song written about the fellow on page 235 or whatever? Does anybody remember that?
I remember a
Anybody remember
scandal
that? Yes.
of the guy in the
Yes.
underwear
Yes.
picture that you
yeah.
could see a little too much.
Yes,
Yeah, it was hanging out in the shorts.
and that prompted an actual country song where the fellow was jealous of the guy on 235. It was a song. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to have to Google that.
yeah.
Yeah.
was it? She thinks my tractor's sexy.
Could have been the same song.
Is that a tractor?
Gary
Are
used
you
to
happy
sing
to see me?
the pornographic version of that.
Well, back to Sterling.
Yeah, let's go back to Sterling.
Stanley Booth, eventually he got commissioned to write the biography of the Rolling Stones, got to travel with them on their 1969 American tour, which was the one that had Altamont thing where 1969, where they had the Hell's Angels running security for their big outdoor concert at the Altamont Speedway in
And they
California.
stabbed and killed somebody.
Somebody was stabbed by a Hell's Angel. The Hell's Angels were drinking wine laced with acid and beating up anybody that said anything, looked at them wrong, including the musicians. They had a big lineup that day. It was Jefferson Airplane, the Burrito Brothers played that afternoon, Graham Parsons and them, Crosby, Stills, and Nash. And it was a wild ride, and that officially ended the 60s. So most people say, the Stones got out with their attaché case full of money, and we're all in shock about what had happened with the lack of security, hiring the Hells Angels for security.
Nobody thought that through, you think?
Well, Jerry Garcia from Grateful Dead was the one that said, we always get the Hells Angels to run our security. And Mick Jagger said, all right. And the next thing you know, it was bad vibes. But anyhow, Stanley Booth was at the center of all of that. And what they did throughout 69, throughout that tour, they rented house in Los Angeles, and it was like rock and roll central, and everybody that was anybody came and partied there with the Stones, and they rehearsed there. And then they'd say, we got a show this weekend in Chicago, so they'd take a flight from LA to Chicago, play the show, fly back to LA, and go back to their home away from home. And that's how they did it all through that tour. So this little guy from Cogdale was right there, writing the whole story,
Documenting the whole thing.
Documenting the whole thing. And then he went back and interviewed a lot of people and got their history and wove it into this book. It's a real good read if you ever get a chance, called Dance with the Devil, The Life and Times of the Rolling Stones, or something like that. But so he ended up living in Sterling.
Okay.
And in about 90, my brother was the managing editor of the Waycross Journal-Herald, and this other guy was one of the writers there, Larry Purdom. And Purdom had worked out an interview with Stanley Booth. So Purdom, my brother, me, and Billy Ray Heron, we all drove over to Sterling one afternoon, went to his house, and it was like every room in there was wall to wall, floor to ceiling with cassette tapes.
Wow.
I mean, you walk in this room and it was like zzz, and zzz, all the way around the room, cassette tapes. And he said, remember Lead Belly? Wait a minute, it's here somewhere.
Right.
He'd be, here it is. Hey, I got to play this for you. No, we did the interview sitting in his living room, and Larry asked him the first question, and 35 minutes later, he finally got around to the answer. His stories were great. I mean, they were just this big rambling. He'd start off answering the question. Then he'd jump off, and then he worked himself back around to the end, which answered the direct question. But he's a very entertaining guy. Sterling, Georgia.
Sterling, Georgia.
Sterling, son.
It's a S.
It's a S.
Don't ask me.
That's our gang sign out there. We all know what it is.
Sterling Silver. Silver City. So y'all got you talking about in the backyard, your fascination with hee-haw, that it was kind of like we was talking about, it's kind of like the laugh-in of country music.
Yep.
and it was piped into all of our homes starting in 1969. And y'all were avid watchers because you liked country music.
Yep.
Number one.
Well, it was a
And
comedy show.
Yeah, and your family, it was family friendly.
Country music oriented.
Yeah. And old Buck Owens was right at the core of that, him and Roy Clark.
Yeah.
And
Grandpa Jones and all those kids.
y'all were avid watchers. So can y'all replicate a song from that for us? Any song.
Where, oh, where
Are you tonight? Why'd you leave me here all alone? I searched the world over and I thought I found true love. You met another and you were gone.
Just like it was yesterday.
I tell you, can't escape it. My daddy used to watch that. We'd get home from church and go over to fellow church members' family's house, and they'd sit back and say, "Y'all's coming on." I'd be like, "Oh, brother."
Oh my God.
One of the things that probably I've come to appreciate more as I've gotten older, it just took it for granted when it was happening, was the absolute artistry of Roy Clark.
Oh God.
Him doing the little segments that he did. I still remember from my childhood a couple of things that he did was just pull out a chair, pick out a random someone from the audience, give me a line in a song, make it up. And they would give him a line in a song. And he would think, and he'd play a couple of notes, and he'd sing a song with that in it.
Oh my God.
And
That
then
was on here?
Yeah. And then another thing that he would do that just left an indelible mark was somebody in the crowd pick a song for him to play. Somebody else pick another song for him to play, and he would play them both at the same time.
That's crazy.
You could literally just, if you listen for the one song, he's playing that, and then you listen for the other song, he's playing that, and I just never forgot how that
was
is.
a Chet Atkins maneuver there.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, it's not the same thing by any means, and Roger alluded to it a little bit. The what he did learning from 12 years old how to play the guitar and stuff, and meeting Donna and playing with the church. They had the Christian television ministries where her father would preach, and her family would. Her sister was a pianist, and
Y'all
Roger.
had a TV show?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Was it on out of Brunswick?
Yeah.
So it was local?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called them CMT,
CMT
country
Christian music.
Yeah.
CTM, Christian Television Ministries.
Yeah, they were.
Oh, okay.
Well, Roger was the guitar guy,
Yeah.
and he was the only one.
Y'all still, can you find stuff like that on
I don't even know if
in
it's
the
on
back
YouTube. I might can find it on
broadcast or
YouTube. I
something
don't
like
know
that
if
on
it's even
YouTube or something?
Well, doing that, playing this, making this music so that the family could sing, Roger kind of developed a unique style of guitar play, where he would have to play the rhythm and the lead too.
Well, that's Chet Atkins.
And I heard a lot of people being in, once we got in the music industry and listening to Roger play, and they say, you got a really unique kind of style. I never really heard anybody play kind of like, just like you do.
Right.
And I've heard that a lot about the way because he had to play both the rhythm and the lead.
Kind of hurt me on my lead part, on my lead rides, because I still do that.
Well, he
Even
had
though
played,
we got other guitar players, and I don't
Yeah.
have to do that now. I can just play the lead, but I don't. All my lead stuff,
It's hard
I play
to
out of
break that
chords.
habit.
yeah.
I play all my
Once you
lead
get-
out of chord position, so it kind of hinders me a little bit, but I can get by.
Yeah, yeah.
It makes for a unique style of his own. It's terrific. He's a great guitarist.
Um,
And you can see what it is that they do Saturday night at the Boondocks.
That's right. That's what I was getting.
And they
back
will
to.
be out celebrating their anniversary.
So, by the time this podcast comes on, it'll be all in the past.
It'll be all over.
Yeah.
But for future reference, the name of your band now is South of Savannah.
South of
Savannah
Savannah.
without an H. Is
It's
that right?
actually supposed to have the H. There's been some posters put up
Okay.
where it was not printed.
Well, I
right.
saw that, and I
They run
thought
out of, they run out of ink.
that might be clever. Yeah, sometimes you
Because I saw a couple
Tale
of
of
posters.
the week. See how it's spelled?
The week, yeah,
Tale.
of the week.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, it's kind of like I've got a weak bladder or something. But South of Savannah is the name of the group, and
Featuring,
y'all are
featuring Drew Holloway, which is
Drew Holloway.
and
is
that's
in the
that's
band.
another
He's
kind of
another one
interesting
that-
story.
yeah.
A little interesting.
He's one of the Boondocks regulars.
He was a patron. I had built a rapport and a relationship with Drew, and Roger was kind of like in between things to do with his music. And he'd go play with this one at a time. He'd get invited to go jam and this and then. But then here come this fella that he was trying to put the band together, and they had several practices, and it's going, going okay. And he's telling me about what they did and what Drew had said. And I said, wait a minute, Drew? Who is this Drew? So I described him, and lo and behold,
Same Drew.
Drew is my buddy from the Boondocks, and now Roger's playing in his band. It was
yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's a 5-piece, 4-piece, 5-piece,
it's 5.
5-piece.
Got a 5-piece.
Okay, and you can catch them in and around Brunswick, Boondocks, Side Pockets,
Playing at the
Pocket.
Red Barn,
Moondogs,
Two
Red Barn.
Cans.
Toucans,
Yeah.
Red Barn.
Red
playing at the
Barn.
Red Barn tomorrow night.
We did our debut at the Red Barn.
That's
well,
Benny's.
Like you said,
Yeah,
Benny's
Benny's.
Red Barn.
Yeah.
The tree bar. It's got several names now.
Did
Yeah.
a Friday night gig there. I'm just going to go ahead and say last week, even though this was going to be later on down the road. Played there last Friday night, and they called us back, wanting us in there again this Friday night. So we'll be back
Well, good.
this Friday as well.
Yeah.
That's good. And
You know how it is. It takes playing and getting people to talk about you, and
getting
it just
word of
grows.
mouth
It
generated.
grows. It
What
starts
kind of music y'all
to
do?
blossom.
We're predominantly country music.
Predominantly country, but
And
you
Drew has
kind
a-
of little bit of variety.
Yeah, throw a little bit of some Southern rock and roll in there.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot, but Drew's a country man. He's
Okay.
originally from either Austin or Dallas.
He just had a birthday.
He did 50.
I was there.
Yeah, you seen all the
Yeah, I saw it.
70s, all the
We got
70s
there.
guard.
Oh, that was the day that I played
Yeah.
early. So I got there, and he and his wife, girlfriend,
Girlfriend.
were decorating. I said, "Whose birthday is he?" He said, "Mine." I said, "You decorate your own party?" He said, "It's a surprise."
and he probably said it like that
said-
because he is really
He's
quiet.
real dry. He said, "I'm gonna be real surprised when I come back in here on the day."
And
But it
everybody-
was a 70s themed disco party. They had disco balls and disco ball straws, and they dressed up in costumes too.
Yeah, had the 70s
I got up and
hair,
sang.
the 70s hair wig.
Yeah, they had the wigs on, and after I played, I think we did leave to go hear y'all.
Yeah, y'all left for a
And
while.
then when
you
we came back, the party was still going on. The birthday party was. So I said, "Randy, what do I sing? I need a 70s song." And he, of course, Randy's always say, "Sing Free." Sing All Right Now. And I said,
All right.
"No, that was 60s, or it might have been 70s." I said, "I need a good disco song. What do I do?" I said, "Barry White." So, yeah.
And you did quite well on Barry White.
Well, I
might
got
add.
to do that.
Take
I
off
got
that
to do
Brazil, my
that,
dear.
I got to do my deep end theme song. People say,
It's all fine.
Have you ever had a
So
Whopper?
somebody had
"You ever
requested
had a Whopper?"
somebody had requested at one of South and Savannah band's shows that they do Sweet Child of Mine. And to Roger's amazement, they did it. Drew sang it.
What the hell?
Cool.
So when Drew was out at the bar the other night celebrating his birthday, and I called him up, I just went ahead, since I knew that he had done it before, I just went ahead and queued it up and didn't even ask him. I just kicked it off. Do this. I want to hear it.
But let me remind you, we don't do it like it do on the album.
Well, that's the thing you get into with karaoke too, which might make some people hesitant to do it because you might have learned it in a key way down here, and then you get to the karaoke, which you have your options. So.
I had him covered. Yeah, I had him covered because I asked Becca to stand in for the chorus part. So
and it turned out
about. Had Becca back there to help him through the chorus, and it was a great song. It was a great song.
Turned out really good, really good. Drew was like, "Oh my God," but it turned out good.
Which is another thing about the Boondocks and what I do. We've got some really great talent that comes in there and sings. Really great people.
And that's what I like about live music. You can leave out all that stuff that you don't want to do.
Really good singers.
Yeah, there are several there, and you always point them out to me too.
Listen to this one right here.
Listen to this. Yeah, there's some good ones. Well, folks, it's time to take it to the corner. Make sure that all the kids are asleep now, because this is going to be good.
Provocative.
Well, this is a story that none of y'all know a thing about, but it's just a story, and it really happened. Lee Pine Room Newell. Now, talk about that. That was a name for a band member. Lee Newell. His nickname was Pine Room, and let me tell you how he got that. He was from Albany, Georgia, and he played keyboards in a place in Albany called the Pine Room. It was probably attached to a motel or something, but he played there so often that people didn't even bother to. They'd see him around town. They'd say, "Hey, there's old." What's his name? Pine Room. He got the name Pine Room from the place that he played because nobody could remember his name. Lee Newell, Pine Room, was Down Home Band's keyboard player from January through June of 1976. He had turned in his notice, promising to stay until our young Waycross piano wizard, Ricky Alderman, returned to the band following high school graduation. It sounds like I'm jumping right in the middle of the story, but the Down Home Band was the band that I was in 76. All right. Pine Room's plans would take him to Nashville, Tennessee in pursuit of a songwriting career, and we would miss him. But how could we miss him if he wouldn't leave? To be fair, we had just been booked in early June to play the Sheraton on the Beach in Panama City, where the girls were plenty and pretty, and the liquor flowed from a never-ending well of well-dressed, well-wishing customers who always made sure we weren't lacking. And to carry on with the well analogy, well, why would he leave? We were booked there for 2 weeks. The plan was to work young Ricky back into the band after the first week, during which he sat at the bar directly in front of Pine Room, observing and taking fastidious notes on which instrument was being played on what song. In other words, keyboard players, they had, back in those days, they were like this, or maybe this.
Stacks.
Yeah, stacks. Ricky had a C3, a Hammond C3 that probably gave me my first hernia. And what was it? Elka string machine. You remember those? Elka. And that might have been it. But week 1 turned into week 2, and Pine Room was still there in his baby blue double knit suit ensemble and trimmed goatee, looking like a younger, inebriated Wolfman Jack, drawing snarly jabs from our lead guitarist, Joe Shear, who was more than ready for the change of the guard. Finally, Eddie Middleton, our lead singer and boss man, pulled Pine Room to the side and reminded him that Nashville was where he belonged.
Oh, Lord.
He had to tell him, though, Pine Room, you got to leave. Down Home Band had just hired Waycross drummer John Randall Smith a few weeks earlier, and upon Ricky's return, we were a full-fledged Waycross, Georgia backup band. After Panama City Beach, we returned to our home away from home, the King of the Road Lounge in Valdosta, to ready ourselves for our first visit to the fabled Macon nightclub, Uncle Sam's. Uncle Sam's in this picture right here was not the original. I searched the world over. Thought I'd found. No, I searched the world over for Uncle Sam's last night on Google, and there was nothing from my day. So this is what it looked like in probably 1991. It was kind of like an Elks Club maybe or something. But back in the day, that left side of it had Uncle Sam's coming down the side of it, and that was the front entrance was there to the left. And it was a big, well, I'll get into it. Uncle Sam's was a big, sprawling bar room set back off the Gray Highway heading out of Macon. Unless Charlie Daniels was in town recording at Capricorn Studios, we were always put up directly across the highway at the funky retro-style Courtesy Court Motel. My room was fourth one from this end right here. That was my room.
The one with the crime tape.
I didn't never notice the dormers up top there. It wasn't 2-story rooms. I don't know what those are. Probably where they hid the cameras.
Yeah, hid the camera.
Well, they had little wall heaters and the old rotary dial telephones in each room. And inside Uncle Sam's was a long stage that covered the rear wall of the club. As in most hot spots in the 70s, there was a DJ booth tucked along the side wall. In this booth worked a DJ who had spent his entire life worshiping at the shrine of Elvis Presley, playing his records and deifying the king to everyone that he met, whether they listened or not. Next time we returned to Macon, he had took to packing his shirt down inside a huge gold buckle wrestling belt, continued to morph into his idol as we returned over subsequent months and well into 1977. The last time I saw him, he had dyed his hair jet black and was sporting a heavy pair of pork chop sideburns and rock star sunglasses. In reality, he just looked like a pudgy little hobbit with bad teeth. But in his mind, he was most assuredly the king of rock and roll. Thank you very much. After the breakup of the Allman Brothers in '76, keyboardist Chuck Lavelle, bass player Lamar Williams, and drummer J-Mo Johnson, along with guitarist Jimmy Knowles, formed a jazz rock R&B fusion band calling it Sea Level, as in C. Lavelle, Chuck, and signing with Capricorn Records in Macon. By '77, Sea Level were prepping for their second studio album, Cats on the Coast, and had added guitarist Davis Causey and singer-saxophone keyboardist Randall Bramlett, two former members of King David and the Slaves, a rhythm and blues horn band made up of late 60s University of Georgia students, which included Down Home Band's bass player, T. Wayne Scarborough, on the right there is playing rhythm guitar, and lead vocalist Eddie Middleton, who was to replace the guy in the dark shirt in the middle. That's Randall Bramlett there, wow. Circa 1966 probably. They were the heyday of blues music. They had that three-piece horn section, keyboards, bass, drums, rhythm. And Randall Bramlett is kind of like the man. He went on to actually become something. He plays regularly with Steve Winwood from, you remember Steve Winwood, big time. And when he left this band, the Eddie Middleton from the group that I played in later years in the 70s replaced him. And the guy on the far right was our bass player in Down Home. So that afternoon in Macon, Georgia, we set out on a Saturday from the Courtesy Court Motel, heading to a Macon neighborhood where Chuck Lavell's home was located. I knew we were in the right place as we descended the staircase to the basement turned rehearsal room, flanked by gold record after gold record by the Allman Brothers, hanging ceremoniously on the wall. Sea Level were going over the songs which would make up their soon-to-be-released Cats on the Coast album. So dialed into their rehearsal, they didn't even seem to notice the Down Home boys standing hip-deep among Macon, Georgia's rock, rhythm, and blues royalty. It's just a story, folks.
He made it up.
I didn't make it up. That was the first time I saw that band, though. Lord have mercy, they were good. They were good.
You're reading your little thing there. It reminded me of something we were talking about before we started recording, about once you get into this business of music, you start meeting all of these people, and
It's fascinating.
Your mind over time just gets filled with story after story after story, stories you've heard, stories that you've told, because you get to just live it all over again.
That's the whole reason I started.
A never ending.
The whole reason I started blogging back then. I blogged for about 2.5 years. I can't remember how many I did, but I did one a week for about 2.5 years. So
You just need an outlet for all of this that's
and
going on
it was
in
like,
your head.
what have I got to say?
Yeah.
A friend of mine over in Valdosta said, you need to write a blog. And I said, when?
And that's kind of how this came about. It was because Justin.
Well, Justin kept pushing it. He said, you need to read
let's do
one
a
of your
podcast. You guys
one
do
of
it.
your blogs
And then-
at the end of every episode, and that's turned into and still not out of them. Still got some to
4 years later.
fall back on.
How long have you been doing this? Justin is off camera. He's the production manager for this. For this,
Justin Mercer, we call him Turned Up.
Turned Up.
Turned up Mercer.
No, I mean, I've been doing it the whole time. I met Sean back several years ago and got to know Dave and everybody else through him. And I just approached Sean to do some audio video work with him.
Mm-hmm.
And been messing with him ever
He's
since.
been started off shooting videos of talent, regional talent,
Yeah, he come out of the military and then got into video, and he just wanted to video music performances, live performances, and that's when you come. When we met.
The original ones was Justin on a camera and carried on holding
the
this
boom.
big boom mic,
Right.
and because he was not static, he was just like MTV
Up and down the guitar neck.
and she was following. She was pretty much static,
Yeah,
holding it to wherever the
singing.
singer
playing
was,
going.
but that was their early stuff called Caution. It's on Caution Light Media.
Then he had the
Facebook,
Uncut
YouTube
series.
page, and then had an Uncut series and Live from Swanee Drive series, and he's recorded several bands' albums right here in this room too.
And just like we've talked about this entire presentation, the music is where these relationships came from.
You meet a lot of people you'd never meet otherwise, for
That's
sure.
it. It's like one big happy family.
You just
I would say everybody in this room wouldn't know each other if it wasn't for music. You know?
Absolutely.
That's right.
I
And
wouldn't have
now,
met you if not for music.
and now y'all are part of the family. So who's bringing the tater salad?
Ah,
That'll be you. That'll be you.
Donna.
Exactly.
Well, guys, we appreciate having
I'm
y'all
safe.
on. Yeah,
It's been a blast.
good
Been a
fun.
blast.
Good fun.
time.
And before we get off here, I'd like to say that Roger also has a podcast of some sort.
It's a
Fishing.
YouTube. My daughter has a podcast.
Your daughter has a podcast
It's called Coenology.
Coenology, COEN.
COENology.
Mm-hmm.
And it's their life story. He's a pastor, up and coming pastor, and a fantastic singer and keyboardist.
Yeah,
And
we'll have to check that out.
him and my daughter sing, and they do the podcast. They just tell their situation and how it might relate to somebody else's situation. And it's really, really taken off. We're doing good.
Good. That's awesome. And you also have some kind of
I have
show.
a YouTube channel.
YouTube channel. Okay,
It's a fishing channel. And
right.
it's Coops Outdoors.
Coops Outdoors.
Coops Outdoors.
Okay.
If you go in there and watch a video and then comment on something and I don't answer you right back, it's because my Apple that I was told to get computer has crashed. So it'll be a while before I get it back up.
Okay. And you're also a taxidermist.
Taxidermist, Coops Taxidermy, out of Brunswick, Georgia.
All right. So y'all need any a horse stuff?
Yeah, if you
Or,
need horse stuff, or your family
trigger?
cat passes away. And I try to stay away from that. I do a lot of deer heads.
Okay.
Voila.
Voila.
it's not. It's off the
That's all
camera.
right. He's wearing my deep end cowboy hat. That's a Dwight Yoakam deer if I ever seen him.
Exactly.
Silver belly. And one last thing before we go, the hat you're wearing. That's
I call it my Stetson Bennett hat
why.
because he's my man.
Okay, so it really ain't his.
It's not really his hat. But if he wanted to wear it, I would let him wear it.
Three-peat. What is it? Three-peat.
Do the ass thing. Yeah.
Sterling sign.
Sterling.
Three-peat.
Yeah, they're going
Go
to be a
Dogs.
three-peat this year. For
Go
sure.
Dogs.
3 feet.
Go Dogs.
And go Something in the Water podcast. And
Something
Go-
in the water.
go y'all for watching it. Way to go, y'all.
Pine Box Dwellers.
And appreciate y'all listening and watching. And please like and subscribe and share. We appreciate that. If you do that, it kind of helps us, you know. It kind of puts us out there and gets us more algorithms.
And shout out to Justin, because if it weren't for him, they wouldn't be no out there.
Yeah.
That's right. It would
It
be
would
all
just
in
be
here.
here.
Yeah. It'll just be right here.
Be all in here.
That's right. We thank y'all, though, and urge you to step on over to patreon.com and check out our Something in the Water podcast, The Deep End. It's $5 subscription rate. $5. That ain't nothing. That's 2 candy bars.
One candy
one
bar.
candy bar.
Well, you 2 for 1.
You got to go with the king size.
Yeah.
That's
But
$5.
it's what I'm getting at is ain't much money, and I promise you, it's a whole lot tastier than a candy bar. That Deep End is.
Dave takes his shirt
You
off.
can sink your teeth into that now, and you don't have to worry about gaining any weight. But we do thank y'all, and we'll see you next time.
Deep down in Louisiana, close to New Orleans, way back up in the woods amongst the evergreens, there stood a log cabin made of earth and wood, where every country boy
till I die. She told him you forget in time. As the years went slowly by, she still preyed upon his mind. He kept her pictures on his wall. When I'm crazy, young and dead, he still loved her through it all, hoping she'd come back again.
Bright lights of the town, a country boy set out to see the world. Remember when those city lights shine down, that big old moon shines on you, Kentucky girl.
I was cutting a rug down at a place called the Jug with a girl named Landa Lou. And in walked a man with a gun in his hand, and he was looking for you to do. He said, "Hey there, fella, with your hair colored yellow, what you trying to prove? 'Cause that's my woman there, and I'm a man who cares, and this might be all." Way back up in the country, back in the hills, down in the hollows where the folks are real, living with the crazies and the old wildcats, sawed-off shotguns and coonskin caps. That's where I'm from, and I'm proud to say we're from the country and we like it that way.
When the cold black water finds its way across through your veins, it just might seal your fate. It just might seal your fate. It just might seal your fate.